shall never work. Men who work cannot dream, and wisdom comes to us in dreams. You ask me to plow the ground. Shall I take a knife and tear my mother's breast? Then when I die, she will not take me to her bosom to rest. You ask me to dig for stone. Shall I dig under her skin for bones? Then when I die, I cannot enter her body to be born again. You ask me to cut grass and make hay and sell it and be rich like white men. But how dare I cut off my mother's hair? Those are the words of Smohala, who they call the dreamer. Okay. And he was a holy prophet, indigenous prophet. Okay. And we spoke about Smohala last week for those who want to get some more background on who Smohala was. Check last week's sermon and you will get that information. Right now, I'm sending virtual sage and cedar to consecrate the space, the virtual space, okay? And we use sage and cedar much like how frankincense and myrrh is used. You know, it's for smudging, okay? All right. And so we are continuing the discussion, the sermon from last week. And again, for those who may be joining, who may be new to our spiritual discussions, okay, on Sundays, we have discussions of a spiritual / metaphysical nature, okay? And you can't separate spirituality from culture and tradition, okay? It's all intertwined. You gotta have balance, okay? So on Sundays, we have spiritual discussions. And last Sunday, we broke down the days, the 7 days, and how they named those 7 days after the planets, okay? The heavenly bodies, should I say, okay? And so if you want to get further information on that, then you can check out last Sunday's sermon, okay? It's called Sunday because Sunday is in alignment with the sun. Monday, moon day. Okay, that's why they call it Monday. They just took one O off. Okay, but it's moon day, actually, not Monday. Okay, and if you want further confirmation of that, then you just look at it in Latin, okay, which is dies lunae, okay, lunae, lunar, okay, you know, Sunday in Latin, dies solis, okay, soul's day, soul being the sun, solar, etc., okay. You know, so we dropped that science last Sunday. Okay, so what I want to do is, okay, we have, let's see, we have 4 people watching, and we have Firebird, Grey Wolf, Native Voices, Turtle Islands checking in. Hey, it's you, Firebird. Yeah, just saw I was going live. Oh yeah, yeah. I meant was to go live earlier. However, I was in a deep dream state, and I didn't get out or get up early enough to do it earlier. But we're here regardless. So now let's pick up from where we left off before, okay? And I promise not to hold you all up too long, okay? Because I only want to go like about a half hour, okay? I know we said that the last time, and we always wind up going longer. And that's just because, the information is always so much information that to share, that we wind up going over. And also, I would like to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Okay. And Firebird says also, let me see, let me show the other comment. Yeah, she says, she also extends, yeah, says peace and blessings, fierce. All the blessings to your subscribers and happy Mother's Day. Beautiful, beautiful. And also, before I get started, I'm going to leave a link for anyone who is generous enough to leave a donation. Okay, that link is in the chat. Okay, just click on that link and take it from there. Okay, and without further ado, we will get started. And so we talked about the pineal gland, or what they call the third eye. Okay, and we spoke about how when this is awakened, you start to become more spiritually in tune. Okay, and you will, also read about what they call chakras. The third eye is also a chakra. Okay, and they are called, well, I'm recapping from last Sunday. Okay, those chakras, they're 7 major chakras. Okay, and they are represented by different colors for each chakra. Okay, there are 7 major. Then there are also 12 chakras that you will read about also, and we got into that in the last discussion. Okay, if you want more information about that, listen to the first sermon, and we talked about that in that discussion. Okay, right now we're just continuing on so that you all have all of the information that we spoke about in the last sermon regarding that. Okay. And so what I want to do now is pick up from that last discussion where we left off. Okay. And let me pull up this particular article. Give me 1 second. I'm going to screen share with you. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Don't go anywhere. My computer is a little bit slow. Don't go anywhere. Just give this a chance to boot up. With computers, they have that, what they call the beach ball, that little beach ball that comes up. They call it the beach ball of doom. When that beach ball comes up, then it stops you from doing anything on the computer. The computer kind of freezes up. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. So just give me a second. It usually just takes, like about 30 to 45 seconds to kick in. So just give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let me look into. Okay, I see we also have some other people who just joined in as well. And let's see who we have. Oh, okay, yeah, we have Awanasa. Awanasa joins us. Says peace and love to all the mothers on this special day. Indeed, indeed. Okay, let me see if this is kicked in yet. Okay, now we're rocking. Now we're rocking. Okay. Let me try to screen share here. And this particular book that we were when we left off talking about this particular book, and this is a book that I read many years ago. Okay. And you can get this book on Amazon. Give me 1 second. And this book is called The Third Eye. I'm sorry, it's called The Pineal Gland, Awakening the Third Eye Chakra and Developing Psychic Abilities such as clairvoyance and other types of intuition. Okay. And I'm trying to screen share here. But anyway, I'm just going to read to you from certain parts from it so that we don't delay. I'm going to read to you from where we left off at. Give me 1 second here. I think we left off at where it says development and function. And it says in humans, this gland grows during the ages of 1 to 2. After that, it maintains its size for the most part. As you approach puberty, the weight of this gland increases a bit. It works to create melatonin, which works in your central nervous system and regulate your sleep-wake cycle. To stimulate melatonin production, staying in the dark, can be incredibly helpful. Light keeps this substance in check, as there are nerve cells sensitive to light that signal the gland. Children often have a lot of melatonin, and it is believed this melatonin is what keeps sexual development at bay. Physical function. The pineal gland are pinealocytes. These are cells that assist with the production of melatonin. You'll also find the glial cells, which are brain cells that allow neurons to send information to each other. You cannot have a regular circadian rhythm or inner clock. Well, let me scroll. Hold on, I'm having a problem here. Or inner clock without this organ. It's what regulates your body's inner machinations, including the signals you get that tell you it's time to go to bed or wake up, or allow you to feel alert or tired. It does a fine job of keeping these times of day consistent. That is, unless you mess it up by refusing to listen. When there are changes in the way your pineal gland functions, it can affect your bone metabolism. The older you get, the less your pineal gland functions, unless you do what you can to keep it active and healthy. This is the reason that postmenopausal women are particularly vulnerable to bone conditions like osteoporosis. Supplementing with melatonin meds can help with the increase of your bone mass. There is a strong connection between sleep and mental health. Don't get enough sleep, and you can either bring a mental health condition on yourself or aggravate whatever you already have. There are, I think, yeah, we read this part here. Let me scroll up. Yeah, we read that already. Okay, I think where we left off at was decalcifying the pineal gland. Okay, says one of the first things you should do is stop drinking fluoridated water. If you're using the public water system, think about asking for information about what's in the water. Remember that chlorine is yet another mineral that can lead to calcification. Consider filtering your water or switching to bottled water. Okay, and let me add, bottled water, I wouldn't even suggest bottled water, because then you have the issue of plastic. And plastic is toxic, because you do your research, you'll see that there's a lot of toxins and things in the plastic that are carcinogenic. Okay, so you don't want to use plastic either. I say the best thing to do is get some type of filter. Okay, that's what I suggest. Then it says look for fluoride-free toothpaste. Then these are things I told you last week, even before. So we didn't even get to this part, but as you can see, she's co-signing on the same thing that I said on last Sunday. Okay, fluoride-free toothpaste. Don't get toothpaste with fluoride. Okay, pesticides have fluoride, so look at the labels carefully when shopping for them. Be mindful that non-stick compounds used in creating non-stick pans and pots have fluoride. Eat more organic food and stay away from the processed stuff. That is true. And if you're gonna, I will interject, if you're gonna eat processed food, process it yourself. Okay. Get yourself a food dehydrator. Okay. Get yourself a food processor. Get yourself a blender. Okay. And learn how to use these things. And if you don't know how, I can show y'all how to use those things and how to prepare different meals, and you can process your foods yourself. Okay, that's always a better alternative than buying stuff in a bag that's been sitting on the shelf for a year, you know, even if it says organic, you know. But anyway, so she says, don't worry about eating foods that have calcium as long as they're natural. However, you don't want to over supplement with calcium because they could lead to problems with your pineal gland. Stay close to the daily recommended allowance and you should be fine. And says the connection between the third eye and the pineal gland. The third eye lets us know there is so much more to the world than that which we use our regular physical senses to pick up on. As you awaken it, along with the pineal gland, you can do the supernatural. Things like telepathy, prophecy, and visions will become the norm for you, and your connection to the divine will grow stronger and more substantial. Though most people have a mostly dormant pineal gland, it is still revered among mystics and seers. It allows for unity and connection on a spiritual level, and it remains significant across cultures. The chakra system is the flow of energy or spirit within your physical body. This energy or chi allows you to stay alive and how all your systems are able to function in balance. The chakras are energy wheels that need to stay open and balanced so you can function as a human and in realms beyond the physical. When there is a problem with this energy system, your physical body takes a hit in the form of an illness. Your mind also becomes a casualty of whatever imbalance is going on within the energy system. You have 7 chakras or energy centers, and their corresponding organs have precise locations. However, while the chakras manage energy flow with those organs, they aren't constrained to one location. Your heart chakra, for example, sits right in the middle of your chest, while the physical heart only occupies the left section. The third eye chakra sits in the middle of the forehead, close to the pineal gland. It is also called Ajna in the Hindu chakra system. and in the Hindu chakra system, and is linked to the pineal and pituitary glands. The pineal gland secretes dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, which people call the spirit molecule. This substance occurs naturally in humans and is responsible for the psychic encounters and vivid visions and dreams of people with open and active ajna. Many plants contain it and are ceremoniously ingested to allow people to experience altered or expanded consciousness. And I talked about that in the last sermon, how the shamans down in South and Central America, how they, although in the Amazon, how they utilize the ayahuasca plant, okay? And that particular plant, it activates that DMT, okay? And when people go on that ayahuasca journey, healing starts to take place on many different levels, spiritual and physical, okay? And we will talk more about ayahuasca in future sermons. And I will bring an indigenous brother on here who utilizes the ayahuasca. Okay. Anyway, when ajna is closed, the result is pessimism, confusion, cynicism, uncertainty, and a lack of wonder. It is connected to the spirit, removing the distance between the profane and the profound, helping you to realize that you were never alone. When ajna is open, you are deeply rooted in your awareness of the source of all life. You have a clear path to the divine, and you can show others the way, blessing them. The third eye allows you to see the world as it truly is, pure oneness. As you develop ajna, you open the door to all sorts of psychic experiences like clairvoyance, telepathy, lucid dreaming, and out of body experiences or astral travel. This energy center is where you can almost literally touch the divine. And upon making contact, you realize the truth behind Maya, the false idea that we are all separate. This illusion involves your awareness of unity, the marriage between the third eye and the pineal gland is a paradox, for the experiences triggered are in your brain, yet beyond your mind, which is how you are able to perceive the contradictions of this world. The ability to handle this paradox is secret and true. I'm sorry, this paradox is the secret to true freedom. Search through the teachings of all mystery schools, and you will find that there is a lot of insight and doctrine on the third eye chakra because it is the bedrock of all psychic ability. It is how people learn to become lucid in their dreams, or to which their awareness from one level of consciousness to another and back. Like I told y'all in last week's sermon, when I dream, I am actually in another location. Okay. When I dream, just like how I am with you all right now, is how I am in another place when I dream. I'm actually bilocating. Okay. And this is what we're talking about here. I know it sounds ridiculous because most of you don't even, there's a whole lot of you who don't even dream. I know a whole lot of people, when I ask them, well, what did you dream about last night? They say, well, I just went to sleep. I didn't dream about anything. And the thing is that you may have had a dream, but because of your disconnect with your spiritual essence, you're not able to recall, or due to a lack of having a holistic lifestyle, okay, or maybe eating correctly, or irregular sleeping patterns. Okay, we spoke about that as well. That can throw you off. Okay, irregular sleeping patterns, you know, bad sleeping habits, you know, waking up in the middle of the night and eating, you know, waking up in the middle of the night and doing other things and going back to sleep can break your sleep cycle, okay, and make it actually harder for you to sleep, which in turn makes it harder for you to remember dreams. Okay, so also I spoke about sleeping in darkness, complete darkness, and unplugging your appliances when you go to sleep. Of course, like I said before, the refrigerator you would have to keep on because you don't want your food to spoil. Okay. But other than that, you should unplug all of your devices. Okay. Keep your cell phones in another room. Okay. And if possible, turn them off. If not, then don't worry about it. But at least have them in a separate room from where you sleep. Okay. Also, I talked about using the eye patches. I'm going to revisit this for those who weren't here last Sunday. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you that. I use this right here. Can y'all see that? Let me try to get this in the screen. Can y'all see that eye patch? Let me bring it back a little bit. Can you see it? Okay. And I use this when I'm sleeping in the night, or when the sun comes out, starts coming out, I have this on, and you sleep like a baby, or if you're taking a nap in the daytime and you want to sleep, use this eye cover. Okay. And it works like a charm. You'll sleep like a baby. Okay. At least for me, that's what works for me. I can't speak for anyone else, but I know for me, it works really well. Okay. Anyway, so, and we spoke about that in the last sermon. But anyway, it says here, life with an inactive ajna means a life bound to a regular and boring day-to-day life cycle. Okay. Then it says more on the ajna. Ajna is beyond time. You can find this chakra in your brain, right in the middle of your eyebrows. This grants you the gift of vision, the ability to see worlds without and within. With this chakra, you have clarity in thinking and can reflect on yourself and contemplate spiritual matters in the light of the truth. This is the center that bestows on you the seeing gift, allowing you to take in what is and isn't around you and then internalize it all. It allows you to express what is within you to the outside. It lets you get inner guidance, confirming from your highest self. Work with this center, and you can see beyond your mind, beyond this world, and beyond the worlds people tell you. When it's active, you will be able to see beyond the basic duality of good versus evil, black versus white, and up versus down, as there are as those are very limiting paradigms that do not allow you to see the potential of your soul and of those around you. You can also see the real meaning of the experiences you and others go through in life. When ajna is active, the brain hemispheres work in beautiful harmony, with each performing function as a whole. Synthetic thought and creativity are balanced by analysis and logic, making for a richer, more rewarding life experience than what those who lean only one way, those who lean only one way could ever have or imagine. This is where your conscience resides. So you naturally know what is just and ethical. Ajna means to command or to perceive. Its element is a combination of all elements forming light. It's indigo in color, and its shape is a star with 5 points. When depicted in drawing, it is a lotus with two white petals. Its seed sounds, its seed sound is the sacred Om or Om, and while its vowel sound is mm. So if you've ever, those of us who have practiced certain spiritual systems, and maybe those of you who have practiced certain spiritual systems, the chanting Om or Om. Okay. You've seen that before. You've heard that before. Okay. I don't know, maybe some haven't, but that's what she is referring to. Okay. It says this energy center gives you the right to see more than others can. It is connected to the eyes, the brow, and the base of the skull. Psychologically, this is the chakra responsible for imagination and intuition. It begins to develop during adolescence. The challenge to working with ajna is that of illusion, since there is the need to be able to connect with the divine in a way that is true, rather than allowing the ego to trick you into deception because of your abilities. The plane of Ajna is that of austerity, or the home of the blessed. Its ruling planets are the moon and Saturn. The ruling goddess and god are Hakini Shakti, or I'm sorry, Hakini Shakti and Shiva. Its sense organ is the mind, and since the mind can perceive all things, it has no predominant sense. The mythological animal is the hawk, which makes sense when you consider that it has excellent eyesight and flies above the world to take in its true picture, much like the chakra does for you when you activate it. It corresponds with the Kabbalistic sephira called Chakma and Bina. The corresponding herb is almond blossom, while mugwort is the incense to use to activate or regulate it. Okay. And, for further reference, you can get this book. As a matter of fact, let me screen share this for you so that you can see the book. You can get it on Amazon. Let me just screen share screen, window, okay, and share. Okay, so this is the book here. Okay, it's called The Pineal Gland, Awakening the Third Eye Chakra, and Developing Psychic Abilities such as clairvoyance and other types of abilities. Why is this? Hold on. I'm sorry, and other types of intuition by Marie Silva. Okay, that's by Marie Silva. Okay, and let me stop sharing there. Give me a second. Okay, and so yeah, get that book. And so we talked about unplugging your appliances. Okay, some of this stuff may sound fanciful and spooky, and some people, may think this is, just a bunch of nonsense, but it's real. Okay, and people do miraculous things. Okay, if you check out some of the future sermons that I'll be doing, you will see that people do miraculous things. Okay, and in the Western way of thought, we're taught that these things are not possible. Okay, and that's because most of you think Western. Okay, you talk indigenous, but really your mind is Western. Your mind is colonized by Western thought. Okay, and especially those who come from the Pan-Africanist perspective. A lot of you have come into the indigenous thing from Pan-African ideologies, okay? And the Pan-Africanists, they don't believe in anything spiritual, okay? They'll say, that's spooky, that's, we don't believe in that, you know, and stuff like that. But you can't ignore things of a spiritual nature and call yourself really truly being or should I say following indigenous culture, okay? Because everything about the culture is revolved around spiritual principles, okay? It's intertwined with everything else, okay? You can't separate it. When you talk about indigenous spirituality, you're talking about a holistic approach to living, okay? A holistic perspective. Everything is intertwined, everything is connected, okay? So now I want to shift a little bit, and we talked about in the last sermon we talked about how dehydration and sleep deprivation are two of the main killers, okay? So you definitely want to start getting more sleep. I told you in the last sermon how to get this melatonin and serotonin functioning properly. I told you about how you want to, in the night, you want to start sleeping between the hours of 10 and 12, okay, when the melatonin is at its peak, okay, and between 12 and 2 a.m., it's not as strong, 2 to 4, it starts to wane, you know, but if you can't do the 10 to 2 at least by midnight, and you want to be in bed by midnight at least, okay? And okay, I see a comment from Dan. Dan says lack of sleep. Dan Heath says lack of sleep and not being hydrated is exactly what he's been going through. Okay, yeah, definitely start drinking more water. I know water it's for a lot of people, water is hard to drink. They say you should drink at least 8 glasses of water. I say do more, but I know some people who drink a gallon of water a day, you know, but you got to work your way up to that. And, I'm not giving medical advice, these are just suggestions. Consult your doctor always, before doing anything that I say. Okay. But one of the things that makes water more palatable is if you take lemon or lime and squeeze some lemon or lime into your water, and it'll make it more palatable and you'll be able to drink it a lot more. Try that, Dan, in terms of the water, and get back to me next Sunday and let me know how that works for you. Okay. And I could almost guarantee you're gonna say, "Yeah, man, putting that lemon or lime in the water, that was the trick." Okay, and at least that's what works for me, because even with myself, drinking water, it can be a chore. Okay, it can be a chore, and when I put the lemon in the water, that helps tremendously. Okay, I can shoot, man. I could just chug the water down. I could do a whole gallon of water, work my way up to it, of course, but I can, with the lemon, I could work my way up to a whole gallon of water, and then again, you work your way up to that gallon. It'll probably take you a couple of months to work your way up to a gallon. Okay, but just think about this. It's hard for a lot of people to drink 32 ounces of water, right? But on the same token, You can easily go to your refrigerator and chug down 32 ounces of juice in with some people in less than a minute. Am I right or am I wrong? Okay. So, and on that same note, if you add that lemon or lime to the water, you'll be able to do the same thing with the water. Because the thing is, the water is so bland until, it's just not enjoyable when you're drinking it down, you know. But when you add that lemon to it or lime, you'll be able to chug it down just like the juice. Okay. And Dan Heath says, true. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Unless, see, the thing too is the water that we're drinking, it's not really, there's nothing in it, There's no minerals in the water. And water is not something that's supposed to be stagnated, Let's say if you filter your water, you add the lemon to it, right? And you can also make a brine with the Himalayan pink salt and add a teaspoon of that brine to a gallon of water, okay? And put your lemon in it, okay, as well. And you want to periodically shake the water, okay? Because water is supposed to be in motion, okay? Water is supposed to be in motion. So you have to shake your water periodically. And what I do too, or what I used to do, and I'm going to get back on it, is I have this big block magnet that I got from another indigenous brother, brother Hank Rising's son. Okay, he used to sell these big block magnets, and I put the water on top I put a gallon of water on top of that magnet. Okay, and I let it sit for about half an hour to charge the water. Okay, and half an hour on that magnet will charge that water. Okay, and then you drink that water, that magnetized water, and you shake it up like throughout the day. You take it out the refrigerator, shake it up, and yes, bottled water known as dead water, exactly. And what I do, instead of plastic, I put my water, I have a water filter, but I don't put it in plastic. I put it in a glass bottle. As a matter of fact, let me show you what I'm talking about. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to grab the water bottle. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yep, I'm here. I didn't go anywhere. I'm right here. I just had to grab these bottles to show you. Okay, so here I take my water and put it in one of these here. Okay, and this is a gallon. At different health food stores, they sell these apple juices, and things of that nature. Whole Foods, they have these apple juices. And what I do, I reuse the bottle and I use it to put water in, different sizes. They have this one is the 64 ounce, and that's what I do. But also in a future discussion, in a future sermon, I'm gonna talk about magnotherapy. I'm gonna have a brother on here who's gonna tell you all about magnotherapy. He's an indigenous brother that has been doing magnotherapy. I'm gonna reach out to him and get him on the show. And I'm telling you, magnotherapy is something that let's put it this way. If I get a headache and I put that big magnet, let me see if I can put my hands on this magnet. Hold on 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm just gonna look for this magnet right quick. I'm right here. Haven't gone anywhere. So the magnets, um, my wife is looking for the magnet right now because I didn't want to keep y'all too long. But the magnets, they work wonderfully, man. I mean, if I get a headache and I put that magnet, or any pain anywhere in my body, and I put that magnet on that area, I can say 9 out of 10 times that I've used that for pain in my body, it has worked no matter what the issue is. Okay, leave it on there for like half an hour and I'm good. Okay, but that is another subject for another time. Okay. Okay, we got we got the good brother American Research News Channel. Yeah. What's good, fam? Thanks for tuning in. It says, what if we put magnets under the bottle caps? Hmm. I've never tried that before. What I'll do is when I get the brother on here, I will ask him because he is the magnotherapist. Okay. Yeah, he's a brother. Some of y'all may even know him, Brother Hank Rising Sun. Goes by Ankh Rising Sun. I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he can come on the show and talk about magnotherapy. Okay. And he he's an indigenous brother, Cherokee, and I think Chickahominy. Okay. And let him tell you from his area of expertise. See, I know about it from utilizing it, for various issues, but he actually administers the therapy with that. Okay. But I know that that's a science in and of itself, as well as you can use pyramids. You can take your water and you can put your water in under a pyramid, or if the pyramid is big enough, like I had the real big pyramid, you could place it right inside the pyramid, and that'll charge your water as well. Okay, I used to do both. I'd have it on top of the magnet and inside of the pyramid, because one of my other Moorish brothers, he used to make pyramids and crystal rods and things of that nature. Okay, and you can put crystals in the pyramid. I'm sorry, crystals in the water as well. Okay, another topic for another time. Okay, and oh, here it is right here. Here's the thank you, sweetie. My beautiful, wonderful wife. She just brought the magnet here. So this is the magnet here. Okay, this is the magnet here, and okay, so this is the positive side, and this is the negative side. As I see, I put the red on it. Okay, I put that positive side where the pain is, anywhere. Let's say if it's here, I'll hold it on here or lay down with it, for about half an hour. Okay, at least a half an hour, and I'm good. Put that anywhere. This is powerful. This is a big. Look at how thick that magnet is. Look at that. You see how thick that is? This is no joke. This is no joke. Don't have any metal near you, okay, when you have this magnet, because it'll bam. That's how powerful it is. This right here is almost like a, okay, here's a brick. Okay, hold on. Let me show you how big this is. Okay, here's a brick. It's not that much smaller than the brick. Okay? It's not that much smaller than the brick. Okay? And you see how thick it is. It's about maybe a third of the width, about a third of the width of this brick. Okay? So it's pretty big. It's powerful. Very powerful. And don't put your cell phone on it. It'll wipe out all the memory. Okay? It's no joke. Okay? But that's magnetotherapy. All right? And again, before I proceed, we're not finished yet. I have some more presentation to share with y'all. Give me 1 second here. Let me leave this in the chat for those who just joined. I know there's some new people who joined in. I'm going to leave this link here in the chat for those who are generous enough to leave a donation. Also, hit the thumbs up button as well. That helps to get the information out there, and helps with the algorithm and things of that nature. Okay, and we have Amin Bey in the house, and Amin Bey says silver is an excellent antibacterial, antimicrobial water purifier as well. Yeah. Silver. Yeah, silver. Indeed. That's true. Real silver. Yeah. Yes, indeed. And okay, and Awanasa says she uses colloidal copper as well. Oh, speaking of that, yeah, colloidal copper and colloidal silver is good too. And the brother who I'm gonna get on the show, Brother Hank Rising Sun, he makes colloidal silver. He makes like the real colloidal silver, and that stuff, that's some good stuff. It's better than the stuff that you buy in the stores. That stuff you buy in the store. He serves that like real like colloidal silver. Yes, but Awanasa uses the colloidal copper. And let me see who else we have in here. Oh, Dan wants to know where you could find copper cups. That's a good question. I'll look into that. And I will let you know what I come up with. I'll do some research on there. And Awanasa says, all you need is a generator to make it. Right. Exactly. And let me see who else we have in here. Okay. Evolving with Michael Fields says peace. All right. Peace. Thanks for joining, fam. And yeah. So now let me continue with the presentation. So we talked about the days of the week, sun, day, okay? And we do these, the reason why they call it Sunday is because it's the sun day. And to give you some background, also, we talked about the 12 and the 7 and the chakras. And so when you read in your various scriptures, okay, you are talking about allegories and symbolism, okay? And these allegories and symbolisms are not talked about in your religious temples of worship, okay? Because this particular wisdom is really reserved for like the initiates, okay? The initiates, those who want to go beyond just the moral dogma, okay? And this is what you call the esoteric wisdom of the scriptures, the Gnostics, if it's Islam, you're talking about Sufi, if it's the Hebrew, you're talking about Kabbalah, okay? And this type of wisdom, they don't give out to the masses because the masses are not able to handle that type of information. Okay, so you get what is on the surface. Okay, if you want to go deeper, then you have to get into the esoteric side of these various traditions. Okay, so now if you're reading in the Bible, okay, which is you're talking about the Torah and even the New Testament, okay. Quran, same thing, because this is based on the stuff that's in the scriptures that predated that, so you're still talking about the same thing, okay. So it's written in allegorical form. So now you have to understand something about symbolism, okay. So these are stories, places, and things that have to do with things that are going on in the cosmos, okay. So Christ, like I told you last Sunday, Christ is a title, okay. It is not part of Jesus's name. Jesus' last name is not Christ. It's not Jesus Christ. That's why when you look in the scriptures, it says Jesus the Christ, okay. So when he traveled to India, okay, and Kemet or Egypt, in these different places, he went through various initiations, okay, and he earned the title Christ, okay. So just like in the word Christ, it means anointed, or one whose head is anointed with oil. Just like Bethlehem is the brain or the house of God, and Jerusalem is the heart. Okay, it's the heart. So it talks about Jesus, or should I say Christ, coming down from Bethlehem into Jerusalem. Okay, so Christ becomes the anointed one when oil is secreted from the brain and throughout the circulatory system into the heart and is distributed throughout the entire body. Okay? So you're talking about things that you're talking about processes that are going on throughout the physical body. Okay? And these are the secrets that they don't tell you about. So then they talk about Jesus. They say, well, Jesus was born on the 25th of December. Okay, realistically, that has to do with again. I know, and I don't want to offend anyone who is of the Christian faith. Okay, um, don't take offense. I know that there's going to be some who are going to hate me after giving this sermon. Some are going to say this is blasphemy. Not only of the Christian faith, some of the Islamic faith, and some of your various faiths, okay? But what I'm giving you, I'm unveiling the mysteries behind these doctrines, okay? So don't take offense at what I'm saying, okay? But when you talk about the birth of Christ, okay, it's allegory and it's speaking of the birth of this transforming process within the mind and body of man. So it's the birthday of the sun god. Oh Lord, I know I'm going to lose a lot of people now. Who was celebrated 4,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, okay, in the Temple of Abydos on the 25th of December. I just have to keep it real. Okay, and the various sun gods. Don't believe me? Get a book. I have a book here somewhere. I can't. I have so many books I can't locate it right off my head, but it's called The 16 Crucified Saviors. Okay, and in that book, it tells you about all this. All the different sun gods. Okay, all born on the 25th of December. Okay, Awanasa says Krishna. Yes, that's right. Krishna, Tammuz, Quetzalcoatl. Okay, all of them. And so from December 21st, which is the winter solstice, to December 24th, the length of days is approximately the same. So on December 25th, the sun is symbolically born as sunlight increases approximately 1 minute per day. At the midnight hour during the first minute of December, the birth of the sun was seen in the astrological sign of Capricorn, okay, which was known as the stable of Agus, okay? And so the infant sun god, or the new sun, was said to have been born in a stable, okay? So I'm breaking down what the allegories are here, okay? And so now you're talking about the sun, and you're talking about shining on the meridian or Sirius, okay, the star from the east, okay, while rising in the east was Virgo, or the Virgin, okay, Virgo, the Virgin, okay, with the horizon line passing through her center. From the position of this star was the famous star in the east, which there you have the three kings to worship the sun god, the newly born, okay, sun god, who was born in a stable, okay, and so now you have the winter solstice. At the winter solstice, the sun is at its southernmost position in the celestial sphere. Okay, then it begins to travel northward along the ecliptic, and at the vernal equinox or spring, it passes over. Hence, the Passover. Okay, the Passover, it passes over the celestial equator. Okay, this passing over the sun from the south to the north of the equator was where you get Easter and Passover. Okay, so then the resurrection of the sun activates the vegetation and restores life to the planet. Okay, so here's where this is where you get these different um, allegories and things in the scripture. You see what I'm saying? Don't get mad at me. It is what it is. Okay? I hope I'm not losing people. Let me look at the numbers. I know people are probably running because y'all are Judeo-Christian. Let me see how many people we got watching now. I know a lot of y'all probably ran. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, we got 8. Let me see. Okay, all right, y'all still. I didn't scare y'all off. Like, yo, your fierce truth seeker is a witch. He's a damn warlock, you know, a damn medicine man. But yeah. So all of these things are allegorical. Okay, so this is the secrets that they've hidden from the people. Okay, so the fierce truth seeker, when he gives his sermons, okay, he tells you the real deal. Okay, because the fierce truth seeker is not going to lie to you. That's why the fierce truth seeker has been given the name fierce truth seeker, because I'm going to tell you the truth. I have to tell the truth. Okay, people may not like what I say. However, I have to tell the truth, because I have to be true to my name. Okay, so if I were to start telling you, a bunch of nonsense that's not true, then I'd be a hypocrite. Okay, so anyway, the when you talk about astrology and things of that nature, astrology, people start thinking spookism and stuff like that, but it is actually a science. Okay, numerology is a science. Okay, so don't get mad at me. I'm bringing you the esoteric wisdom. Okay, so and so with Easter, okay, that's why during Easter, if you notice, and Passover, there's not a fixed date Okay? There's not a fixed date. It changes every year. Am I right or am I wrong? Can I get a witness up in here? uh, 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 every year, the Easter and the Passover, it changes every year. Can I get a witness up in here? Okay. I think I got a witness up in here. Okay. Yeah. And Awanasa says, she says, the helio-biblical tech is all about the sun revolving around the earth, Orion's belt, Pleiades, etc. And sure enough, Awanasa is right. Yes. All right. And she's right. Okay. It changes every year. Okay. Why is that? Okay. Because they have to watch what's going on with the heavenly bodies. Okay. They have to watch what's going on. Another example, Ramadan. Oh boy. I know the Muslims are going to really, really hate me now. But I have to tell the truth. Okay. Ramadan. Okay. No fixed date. Am I right or am I wrong? How many Muslims in the audience? How many Muslims we have up in here? But see, the fierce truth seeker, once he gets the Holy Ghost, he has to tell the truth because the anointing of the Lord is upon him and he can't hold the secrets back. Okay, so any Muslims up in here, put a one up in there in the chat. Put them up. Put them up. Okay? Okay, some of y'all in here want to front. Okay, and y'all don't want to admit, I know some Muslims up in here. Okay, but you don't want to co-sign on what I'm saying. But the fierce truth seeker has to tell the truth. Okay, but yes, Ramadan. Even Ramadan. Okay. It's not a fixed date. They have to announce when it's coming. Then you know when you start the fast. And any Muslims up in here, you know I'm telling the truth. Okay? So, and that's how you know that this is a particular science that goes way back. Okay? So, Easter, Passover, okay, which is Easter, the first Sunday after the first full moon following the spring equinox. After the spring equinox, the sun is resurrected and the number of daylight hours increases steadily until the summer solstice. Okay, the resurrection of the sun activates the life on the planet. Okay, the growing of crops and the crops and things of that nature. Okay, all right. So, when the sun reach the equinoctial point and crosses over or passes over or should I say, when it did pass over, back in the days, years ago, okay, it was situated in the astrological sign of Aries, or the ram, or the lamb, okay? And that's where you get the symbology of the Lamb of God, okay? The Lamb of God. You see what I'm saying? All right. And we'll get deeper into that uh, in future presentations, okay? And then you will see beyond the shadow of a doubt that what I'm saying is right and exact. Okay, so I just wanted to give y'all a little background as to the symbolism, the chakras, and things of that nature, give you some perspective. Okay, and that way, so I want you to have a working knowledge of how this metaphysics works. Okay, from, so you can have a balanced perspective. Okay, and so if you look, I'm going to share a screen with you now, and I want to show you something here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share the screen. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this document up. Okay. Pull this one up. Okay, that's one. And I'm going to pull this one up. That's two. Okay. Give me 1 second. It's buffering a little bit. Usually takes a few seconds. I want to share this screen with y'all. And in the meantime, while that's buffering, so now in ancient Kemet, they also talked about the third eye as well. Okay. And let me see, did it stop buffering? Let's see here. Okay, while that one's buffering, I'm going to pull up this document and share with y'all. Let me make it a little bigger. Okay. And I'm going to share screen. Okay. Hit share screen, window. Oh, okay, that one is up too. Okay, so let me see. Okay, that one is up. Okay, I'll deal with this one first and share. Okay, so don't get, I know you have some people in here who are from the Aboriginal persuasion and things of that nature. Don't get spooked or don't get turned off because I'm talking about ancient Kemet, okay, ancient Egypt, because ancient Egypt was right over here. Whether you know it or not is another story. Okay, that's something that you're gonna have to do your research on. but ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt was right here. Okay. The original, should I say, the original ancient Egypt was right here. See what I'm saying? All that stuff went over to the east later. Okay. And so, if y'all can see this, it says, the ancient Egyptians knew how to unleash the power of the pineal gland. Okay. Let me scroll up a little bit. So it says, the ancient civilization was ahead of many other civilizations around the globe when it flourished on the edges of the River Nile thousands of years ago. This video explores the connection between sacred geometry, the pineal gland, and the sacred, now lost knowledge obtained by the ancient Egyptians, which allowed them to achieve fascinating things thousands of years ago. And if you look up here, they show you the eye of Heru, what they call the eye of Horus, eye of Heru. Okay, it says the third eye, the thalamus, the eye of Heru or Horus. Okay, see that? Okay, and they're showing you how this looks in the brain and how that part of the brain looks like the eye of Heru. So you can see how our ancestors had some high science. Okay, and this high science, okay, again, I know there are people in the chat who come from the Aboriginal perspective. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, you had the same stuff right over here in the Americas. If you read my book, which I'm trying to get it published by the summer, okay, I show you where we had the eye of Heru right here in the Americas. We had the Ankh and all of that stuff. Okay, a lot of people just haven't done enough research. You haven't been in this long enough to have come across this information yet. Some of you, I've noticed, have been coming across some of this information. You're catching up. Okay, but you know, Fierce Truth Seeker has known this a long time. Okay, so anyway, our ancestors, see again, and now we're talking about, this is that ancient ones science. Okay, we're talking about the ancient ones on this land. Okay, ancient, we're talking about ancient. Okay, we're not talking about modern day. Okay, there is a difference. Okay, that ancient science, that Atlantean science, that Lemurian science. Okay, so now, scroll up, it says, among their knowledge in astronomy, engineering, architecture, medicine, the ancient Egyptians had a very special place for religion and spirituality, knowing exactly how important it was in everyday life. The pineal gland, aka the third eye, is a small cone-shaped part in our brain that is responsible for producing serotonin, derivative melatonin, which directly deals with our hormones, which in turn modulate sleep, wake patterns, and our seasonal functions. Located near the center of our brain, the pineal gland occupies a small area between our two hemispheres. Okay? It says, it is considered by many as a portal that connects the physical and the spiritual world in human. When activated, the pineal gland offers a sensation of euphoria and oneness that heals the person's mind, offering a sense of knowledge and enlightenment. The pineal gland is considered as a way of traveling between dimensions, referred by many as astral projection or remote viewing. Curiously, if we look at the pineal gland and the eye of Horus, we will find a fascinating similarity. The eye of Horus is a symbol that represents protection, royal power, and health. The third eye, the eye is usually personified in the goddess Wajet and is also referred to as the eye of Ra. Okay. And now another I'm going to share another article. Give me 1 second. Share another article with you. Okay. Share this. Make it a little bigger. Okay. Let me hit share screen. Window. Share. Okay. And so now, okay. So let's see here. This particular article, and if you want the link, you can see the link up there at the top. And so it says the pineal gland. Okay. Scroll up. The main access point between astral body and physical body. Okay. And here it gives you some illustrations here, shows you the location, things of that nature, which we saw in the previous slide as well. So the pineal gland is the center of the brain, the physiological center that is the access point between your astral body. It's out there floating around the physical body. Let's say you're tired. I'm bugging. Let's say you tried to solve this scientific problem and you're trying to discover calculus. You're trying to discover decimal fractions. You're trying to work on color photography and you're working on your problem. I believe that you have this astral body that's actually going around and looking for people who are working on the same problem in the source. And when you see somebody else working on it, you're spying on them and you're probably just giving off photons in the room where that person was. But it also appears that you have direct access to the actual information of their thoughts that you can actually pick up from the universal database, or at least the worldwide data bank, the same information they already have. So the pineal gland, according to many different ancient traditions, appears to be the main access point between the astral body and the physical body, the physiological nature that determines how psychic information gets in. As you can see here, it's in the middle of the brain and it's shaped like a pine cone. It's a small gland. It's a shape of a pea. It has kind of the reddish purplish color inside the brain. And there is something interesting. And there is some interesting things about it, because when you look at the ancient traditions, we find that many differing traditions giving, we find many different traditions giving pine cone type of examples here. Okay, here's one image, the primitive mountain. Okay, It is said to be the location on Earth where the gods contacted humans. The idea of the pineal gland. Okay. And in Babylonia, the Babylonian god Tammuz, we spoke of earlier. Okay, here's an image of the Babylonian god Tammuz, and he's holding a pine cone. Okay, you have that pineal gland. Holding a pine cone in his hand as if it is a very important tool he is using in his work, which may well be psychic. Okay, and in ancient Kemet or Egypt, here we have the Benben stone. Okay, you have the Benben stone. And you see it right here. It says stones were often used to depict the pineal gland. You can clearly see in this image that stone is shaped like the pineal gland. There are two serpents one sides, coming from coming they meant to say, they should have said one side. They said one sides. One side. Those serpents are called Reis, Reis. They represent the Kundalini energy, which is believed is coming from the root chakra through the 33 vertebrae. Okay? 33 segments is more accurate. 33 segments is more accurate into the brain. The number 33, the 33 degrees of Freemasonry actually correspond to the 33 vertebrae in the spine. That the goal of Masonry is to get the add up and awaken the pineal gland, as we're going to see. It's not just Masonry doing this major work. This major world religion with all different varieties. So many of them giving us the same metaphor in the Egyptian metaphor. Is also interesting because you'll notice that either side of the Benben stone has two birds. Those birds are called Bennu. When the Bennu was trying to translate whoever wrote this, their grammar is really off trying to follow this person's writing. When the Bennu was trying to translate it, or it might have meant to say trying to be translated to Greek, the word got changed to phoenix. So the phoenix is obviously the bird that dies and reborn, that's consumed in flames. It collapses into ash and then is reborn out of. So it appears that this is the pineal gland, and there is a message here about this sort of astral body. It's going out there, flying around. It's dying and reborn, and you go out about it. And you go out about in your outer body experience, flying around in other forms, but then dies when he comes back to the physical body, only to be reborn when you have another out of body experience. Okay. And here is the staff of Osiris, who is the lord of the underworld. Okay. And here you see two serpents around the pine cone. Okay. So it says here pine cone on top, on the top with the two race serpents intertwining upward, up towards it. According to many scholars, it represents the DNA molecule It's spiral together. It spirals together and looks like a double helix. Okay. And here's King Tut with the serpent on the forehead. Okay. As you can see there. One of the gods on earth, you can see the raised serpents coming out of his forehead where the pineal gland is located. Okay. And now here's the Hindu god Shiva. Okay. Interesting hair. Looks like pineal gland. It's very obvious. Has raised serpents wrapped around his neck and a bindi as to third eye symbol in between the eyebrows. Babylonian tradition, Egyptian tradition, and now into Hinduism, which is geographically isolated culture, which are geographically isolated cultures, they should have said, with exactly the same symbols. Boy, this grammar is horrible. Okay. And it says it can be connected to the Adam and Eve story that a serpent made them do things which God didn't find appealing, scared Adam so much that his offsprings created a funny bone in their neck, the Adam's apple. It can be that the serpent called his friends and were being worshipped as gods on earth in countries to countries, the same serpent. Now, Mesoamerica, clear all the other side. What I can say, this grammar is horrible. So it's here he's saying in Mesoamerica, on the other side of the world, we find it again. Okay, here is Quetzalcoatl. Okay, the Mayan god who is Lord of the underworld, like Osiris, and what we're seeing here is a very common image in this sculpture, emerging his face from a mouth of serpents. A serpent, according to various scholars like John, represents the galaxy, as specifically he believes that a lot of Mayan art that says in the end of this Mayan calendar cycle that the ecliptic plane on the earth, the tilt of the earth, will line up with the center of the galaxy. It's actually perfect around 1998, but it's pretty close to 2012. So that's one of the things we have. Look at the image, the coils of the serpent appears like the pineal gland, very similar. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now we go to the Greek, Omphalos, another illustration of the pineal gland. Gods first landed on Omphalos to contact first of the humanity. It is used by the oracle to be in contact with the gods. The stones was made to let humans contact them directly. Also, a symbol of the pineal gland, which would do the same thing. Okay. Dionysius, god of birth, no, the god of death and rebirth. Okay. Dionysius, the god of death and rebirth, also has a pine cone on the end of his staff. As y'all can see it here, the pine cone at the end of the staff here. Okay. Bacchus, god of revelry. Okay. You see the pine cone here at the end of his staff as well. Okay. Buddha. Okay. You see the hair of Buddha here. Okay. His hair is styled in the shape of pineal gland. Okay. And you see that little dot right there, right in between the eyebrows. Okay. The third eye. Okay. The Irish Turo stone. Okay. You notice the shape. Okay. And it says here the Roman beetle and eagle. Roman traditions have many pictures of the same stone, except in Roman tradition, it gets renamed from Omphalos to Betel. The A-E is kind of pronounced V, so it's more like veil. Okay, so it's Bevel. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, this appears to be the derivative of Bethlehem, birthplace of Jesus, birthplace of Jesus the Christ consciousness. It's a metaphor through the Bevel in the mind, through the pineal gland that's now the Christ consciousness awakened. Okay, and here you have a Roman coin which has an eagle symbolizing the phoenix, the Benu bird. If you go back to the Egyptian, the Benu bird is here an eagle, not the phoenix, and he is on top of the bevel stone. Okay. All right, and here we have, it says here, the Roman pyramid bevel. It's documented, and it says here, the stylized bevel stone as if it were a pyramid. Bevel became a pyramid, and if you look at the bottom, one of those pyramids has a capstone. There is a clear line of demarcation on the top of the capstone. Now, the other side of any of these coins would be the winged god. And in another example, we have any Roman coin. Okay. All right. And so you have that eye right here. Okay. That eye, which, goes back to the eye of Heru, blah, blah, blah. All right. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share. All right. With that. And I didn't mean to go so long. As I said before, I would keep this brief, but it's very hard to, I said it would be just a half an hour, and it's very hard to just go at a half an hour, but because there's so much to share, there's so much to share. And let me see, let me get rid of this shared screen here. Give me 1 second. How do I do this? Let me see, is it stop screen? Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, I didn't want to go so far Where are we here? Let me see who we have here. Yes, I see. Awanasa says fasting once a week. Yes, exactly. Fasting is very key, very important. Okay, we're going to talk about that in future sermons. Okay, and even do some group fasting. All right, but yeah, fasting once a week. Okay, I do that from time to time. I got to get back on it regularly. Okay, and let's see, we have here Dan Heath says here, brother, I can tell you from personal experience working around the most deceitful racists. Wow. They know who we are and they fear the day we realize who we really are. They fight so hard to keep truth from us. Yes, indeed. Very true. Awanasa says, why don't they say the lamb of the goddesses? Well, we know, these are what they call patriarchal religions. You know, that's their paradigm. Their paradigm is patriarchy. You know, unfortunately, you know, unfortunately. And so, let's see who else we have here. And Dan says, trust me, show my daughter all of this information while I put her to sleep. I've been on this journey since I was in Job Corps in 2010. I had to get over the slavery narrative to raise my vibration. I hear that. I hear that. Well, I'm glad you did get a chance to wake up from that mental sleep that they have imposed on our people. Yeah. And let's see here. And yeah, the good brother American Research News Channel says, excellent. Thank you, fam. Yeah, and y'all can go over and check American Research News Channel. He has a lot of good videos and things of that nature. Okay, support that channel. Make sure when you go on there, thumbs up. Leave the good brother some a donation. When you go on there. Again, I always tell people, whatever donation is good. It could just be $1. Nothing is rejected. You know, but definitely support that channel. Okay, and yeah, so I didn't want to keep y'all so long. But I think on this note, I am going to get off of here. I'm going to sign off, and I will be bringing some more of this metaphysics, and I always incorporate the indigenous aspects, if you notice, okay, because it's all interconnected and you cannot separate the spirituality from the indigenous. And again, I'm using that term indigenous loosely, just for the sake of clarity, okay? And, you know, you want to be balanced. We can't just do all the time just mundane information, because realistically, you know, though the fierce truth seeker has a lot of research under the belt, my main thing is really, to be totally honest with you, my main thing is the spiritual stuff. That's my main area. Okay, that I'm of my interest. Not that it's my main area of research. Of course, the history is definitely my strongest point. But in terms of interest, the spiritual is what, where my heart is, okay, because it can't be separated, okay. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to sign off, and I thank all that joined in, okay. And again, I left the link in the chat for those who, are generous enough to leave a donation. And I'm going to say, on that note, I'm going to sign off. And until the next time, do the dog,